In this video, I'm going to be discussing why the giants are dead in Jotunheim. So these are the channels that followed my instructions to get mentioned in this video. If you would like your YouTube channel mentioned in my very next video, follow the instructions at the very last second of this video. So at the very end of God of War 2018, after we fight Baldur, we go to Jotunheim, to the tallest peak in all the realms, to spread Faye's ashes in her home world of Jotunheim. So with our boy Atreus, we hiked all the way to the peak, saw some pretty cool and pretty scary stuff on the Jotunheim wall, and when we finally got to the peak, we saw this beautiful landscape, so we thought. Upon further inspection, we saw something pretty bleak on the horizon. Many giants laid around the landscape, dead. It even seems that the peak that we are actually standing on are actually the fingers of a fallen giant. But why are all the giants dead in Jotunheim? What force of hate and destruction came through Jotunheim and destroyed basically what is an entire race? And what does this mean for Ragnarok? Let's find out. So let's take a look at some of the giant bodies that we see in the horizon in Jotunheim. One theory that has been going around the God of War community is that the giants died from some type of famine or disease or something like that. Well, I'm not so sure about this. If you take a closer look at some of the bodies of the giants that we see in Jotunheim, we actually see a lot of them in armor and have weapons nearby. So armor, weapons, sounds like they're going into some type of battle. Well, this can be explored even a bit further if we take an even closer look. Around some of the bodies that we do see, we see their own blood. So this clearly demonstrates that it was not some type of disease or famine that took the giants by storm. Well, if it was some type of disease, they're like throwing up all their blood and that's just gruesome by itself. But it looks like the giants were in a huge battle. A battle of complete destruction. I believe, just like many other God of War YouTubers, that the giants were in the final battle. The battle that was heard throughout all 9 realms. The battle of Ragnarok. Okay, now hear me out. It does sound really crazy, but it does make sense once you break it down. And I have an even crazier theory how we're going to get them back. Yes, all of the dead giants that are in Jotunheim to storm the walls of Asgard. The theory will be a little later in the video, but let's discuss why they are dead as of right now. So how has Ragnarok already happened and destroyed all of the giants? Or at least most of them. Well, you have to really think about how time works in the Norse realm. We learned from Ymir that time works very differently in each realm. Well, he explains it a lot better, so here's a clip.
We killed the Reavers near my home. They came here. How did they return so quickly?
Time doesn't move the same between all realms, especially where the spirit world is concerned.
Like the light of Alfheim.
The opposite, in fact. The Lake of Souls feels faster than Alfheim time, but Hell is much slower than Midgard. Sorry, I'm sure that's confusing.
If we will be back to my son all the sooner, that is good.
Ah, aren't you a quick study?
Yes, time works differently in each of the 9 realms. Okay, so far so good. So is it even crazier to think that when we showed up in Jotunheim in God of War 2018, that we showed up in almost a future Jotunheim? Yes, I know it is a little crazy, but we've actually heard in God of War 2018 some really crazy time travel stuff that happened with the world serpent Jormungandr. So during the great battle of Ragnarok, Jormungandr and Thor take each other on, and Thor hit Jormungandr so hard that it splintered the world tree Yggdrasil and sent the serpent all the way back to where we find him in God of War 2018 in Midgard, around the Lake of Nine. So time travel will play a pretty big role in God of War Ragnarok. Many people probably didn't think of this, so here's your time travel example. So Ragnarok possibly already happened in Jotunheim before Tyr had a chance to hide the Jotunheim realm tower in the realm between realms, which may play in my theory in a little bit. So many of the giants are already dead, but we all know that not all of them are dead so far because Atreus is still alive and kicking, one of the last living giants in Midgard. And during the God of War Ragnarok trailer, we see Angrboda. So Tyr possibly hid the Jotunheim realm tower in the realm between realms before each and every giant was killed. I mean, we also still have Surtur and Muspelheim, but that might be a story for another day. We also know from Norse mythology that Magni and Modi are one of the few gods that are supposed to survive Ragnarok, along with Vidar, Vali, and Baldur, but that's probably a discussion for a whole nother day. But during God of War 2018, we do kill Magni when we fight him. And Modi couldn't believe his eyes because prophecy told him that Magni and Modi would survive Ragnarok. Well, prophecy did not count on Kratos. So later on in the game, Mimir tells us that prophecy did not count on Kratos being in the Norse realm. So Kratos, being the god killer that he is, has changed prophecies in this game already. So what does this mean? It means that Kratos has the power to overturn the prophecies that were created in the Norse realm. So this leads right into my theory about how the dead giants are going to storm the walls of Asgard during Ragnarok. So how are they going to get to the walls of Asgard if they are already dead? Like said before, time travel. Like said before, time plays a very big role in the Norse realm, and Kratos and Atreus are going to use this to their advantage. And you know how we're going to make this work? We are going to use the world tree Yggdrasil, just like Jormungandr. So Jormungandr, like said before, used the world tree to go back to where we see him in 2018. Well, he didn't quite use it, he kind of got thrown through it, but whatever. And Kratos and Atreus are going to do the same exact thing. Whether it's going to be like old school Kratos and just basically break his way through the world tree, or we're going to find some type of magical relic or something like that that's going to help us travel through Yggdrasil and travel back, the end result will still be the same. Kratos and Atreus are going to go through splinters in the world tree to the realm between realms and travel back in time to Jotunheim when the giants are already alive. I know it's a lot to think about, but stick with me here, stick with me. So Kratos and Atreus, and maybe Angrboda, I'm not quite sure yet, we'll find out when Ragnarok hits shelves, will go back and rally the giants to fight in Ragnarok. It is here that we will take the giants from their hiding spot in Jotunheim and storm to the walls of Asgard to take down the Aesir gods. So they might do this one of two ways. One, they might travel back through time, through Yggdrasil once again, and show up the current time. You're picking up what I'm putting down, before they traveled back, and storm the walls of Asgard there, kind of taking the Aesir off guard. Or they might just storm the walls in the current time we traveled back to. You see what I'm saying? But they're not going to be alone. I think another army is going to join us, and if you'd like to hear a little bit more about that theory, I have a link for you right here. Check it out if you'd like to know. And it has to do with the army in Helheim. I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me today. It really does mean a lot. And if you did enjoy yourself here, please leave a like, subscribe, and share this video out so others can enjoy it as well. Now, on to how your YouTube channel can show up in my very next video. So leave the hashtag static in the comments down below. And if your comment does not have the hashtag static in it, it will not show up in my next video. So put hashtag static. So all entries have to be in the comments down below before I start editing my next video. So TikTok.